relax you. Come in money, miss you when you there, you look a rat you. You say you the money, miss the custom and the statue. Say they like a catch you, but they got in a figure to you. Say this bit of money, got and say that is not you. One day the man above me, no be my got up you. But it in the kitchen, some of my well like a patu. I singers and DJs and social media's coming at you. Big bun, 300% free. Big bun, garbage by love it. Big bun, give the teacher them free. Big bun, I see corruption fee. Big bun, mash down the people them out. Big bun, every day appear arms out. Big bun, appear money them a thief. Big bun, and them a sell out the beach. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy Kenyan, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again. Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises done and them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and down in the river. Them a bull money and they lie them tell. Corruption spell and they pocket them spell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start and thief when them spell. Big bun, what they treat the market man. Big bun, what them a treat the cat man. Big bun, what they treat the peanut man. Big bun. Global TV send another one. Oh, 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 oh. Global TV, I send them home. Yeah, man, this is Michael Buckley. I tell you, say, yo, the Global TV, yeah, man, me represent that 100%. Play the music, Global. Boom, shell.
Good evening and welcome. It is the People's Point of View, and it is your station, the Global TV Group. This evening, we are giving you exclusive information, but we are curtailing our information in a question. I hope you can all follow the storyline this evening. It will be an evening of could it be that and what if. But what I can tell you, the information that you're going to hear tonight, you heard it first on global television. The information that you're going to hear tonight, even though we're going to phrase the information, the conversation in a question, in questions, this information tonight, you can put in your pipe, smoke on it, you can take it to the market, and you can make a profit on it. So like and share the live tonight, particularly sharing the live to your WhatsApp group. And tell everybody over Pink Wall and everybody, if they want exclusive on the BUJU return that nobody has, then global television is the place to be tonight. Tonight is the place to be on global television. I want to say good night to Ambassador, the Honorable Mark Myrie BUJU Banton. Good night to Ambassador, the Honorable Sprague Benz. Good night. Good night to my Global TV family. Good night to my community of parity and all my family members. Good night to the people of the United Kingdom and the West Midlands and London. Good night to all my moderators, platform membership holders, viewers, and subscribers. Good night and welcome. Like and share the live, please. You are going to hear information tonight that you have not heard anywhere else. So bouncing the algorithm will allow a lot more people to hear this live tonight. And there is a much broader context that we're going to look at that stands out in this issue with regards to sovereignty, independency, and what you call the other one, but never mind, we'll get around to it. But tell everybody this is important information. Information that is beneficial to all Jamaicans. Information that is beneficial to the struggle. Information that is beneficial to your sovereignty. Information that is beneficial to your economic growth. Information that is beneficial to your infrastructure improvement, but only if you understand how important of an issue this is. As well as tonight, we're going to put some rumors and argument flying on social media to bed. Yes, with regards to BUJU Banton. Natalia Freeman, good evening, real sweet, good evening, Debbie Jervis, Sunshine, Patricia Matthews, Pamela McNeil, Kamar Johnson, Arlene Foster, Michelle Lewis Wilson's God Gift, Yvonne Riley, Elaine Turner, Pamela McNeil, Cynthia B., Christine Gilbert, Rosemary Samuels, Miranda Roddick, Darth White, Carlene Jones, Millicent Jones, Brittany L., E.M. Delroy Henry, Marcia St., Abina Sarkodie, Marcia B. Rowe, Ton of Flavor, Kate M., Janet Riley, Bros, Ladybug, Durant Clark, Carlene Humphreys. Good evening, all, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Joan Brown, good evening, good evening. In my prowling on social media, as you know, in our Jamaican circle, Marcia Thomas, everybody have their own view, Maxine Cummins, when things go down or when things happen that looks like a mystery to us or we do not understand. Everybody have their side of the story. And I've seen several information on social media that one could describe as unsympathetic or nasty in the circumstances. That BUJU Banton sold his soul for a visa. BUJU Banton sacrificed his son for a visa, Janet McIntosh. The first thing I want to put to bed tonight, from my research, BUJU Banton visa had nothing to do with the death of his son. Based on my research, and something you can smoke in your pipe, BUJU Banton, Dion Johnson, had his visa before his son died. I repeat, BUJU Banton, the diplomat, BUJU Banton, if una know how Holness in a catawire, because Holness doesn't understand what is going on around him. And we're going to talk about power as well within that context tonight. Holness is confused. That much I can tell you, as Donald Trump would say. Holness is confused. He's angry. He's troubled. Because things that he fought vehemently against is working and happening around him. that he doesn't understand and doesn't know why it's happening, how it happened, and what is going on. So that I can tell you, BUJU Banton visa, Kate M, had nothing to do with the death of his son. BUJU Banton had his visa before his son died. Another narrative I want to put to bed also. This you can smoke in your pipe. DJ Khaled has nothing to do with the return of BUJU Banton to the United States. BUJU Banton, DJ Khaled, is in a mystery as much as a lot of us in Jamaica and in the diaspora with the return of BUJU Banton. So this is another story we're putting to bed on global television tonight. DJ Khaled has nothing, I repeat, nothing, Patricia Williams, to do with BUJU's return to the United States. Another story we're also going to put to bed, and these you can smoke in your pipe. Michelle Clark, Jamaican foodie. Like and share the live, please, because we're giving exclusive narrative over here tonight. The private jet that BUJU Banton went up on has nothing either to do with DJ Khaled. I can tell you that that is BUJU Banton's airline. Raymond, how are you? That is BUJU Banton airline. So one, BUJU Banton visa has nothing to do with the death of his son. As everybody is saying, he sacrificed his son, he sold his soul. No, he had his visa before his son died. DJ Khaled has nothing to do with BUJU Banton's return to the United States. And the private jet BUJU traveled on is BUJU Banton's own private jet. You can say you heard those confirmation on global television. It is quite clear by now also from the publication on Chief Curry's page, as in one of my broadcasts last week, Evan Bradford, what if BUJU Banton has claimed his indigenous status, nifty friend, Mavis Gordon. Lossum, you know. Like and share the live, everybody, please. We don't have to what if anymore. From the information and that put out on Chief Curry's page, Prof. Gorgeous Lady, it is clear that BUJU Banton, Mark Myrie, is ambassador, the honorable, to the compound government. Therefore, making BUJU Banton a diplomat. Now you understand the context of his visa in relation to him also become a sovereign indigenous person. Now you understand the jurisdiction of Jamaica is quite different here. But there's a lot of other questions that is opened up. What if this is not the first time that BUJU Banton has tried. Could it be that BUJU Banton have tried before to return to the United States? But because of the thought he received from the Jamaican government, and particularly the Holness administration, he came up on brick wall. Follow the storyline. Could it be that left for the Jamaican system and Holness cronies within the US Embassy, BUJU Banton would not have returned, even though being a diplomat? Does the Foreign Office recognizes BUJU Banton's and Spraggaben's ambassador's status? Could it be that BUJU Banton have to apply from a third country? Call everybody. Could it be that processing his diplomatic visa or processing his entertainment visa as a diplomat, an ambassador, could it be that BUJU Banton had to apply from a third country? And could it be that that is what put Andrew Holness in a pickle, because he was sidetracked? Does this not open a conversation of the power structure? At one point, sometime I think last year, I said the highest sovereign authority in Jamaica is the paramount chief of their compound, Chief Richard Curry. This shows that the jurisdiction is recognized. But in BUJU Banton's head teacher K, in BUJU Banton become attaining his indigenous rights and his sovereignty, Stacey, and by extension becoming an ambassador. I wonder if your ambassador plenipotentiary, Ambassador the Honorable BUJU Banton, I wonder if you're plenipotentiary. Now you understand that even though your prime minister is kicking up ruckus and rumpus about sovereign authority, there is a recognized sovereign authority, the indigenous people. They are compound Maroons. And thereby, BUJU has become a part of their government as well as an ambassador, and has that diplomatic status in international law. I wonder how the Holnesses feel about this. I wonder how the Jamaican government feels when it was sidetracked. Authority was given that they didn't give and they don't understand. But what is the big picture for you, the people? We must reinforce your voting rights education. Because what this has opened to us is that we can remove the colonial jurisdiction. Independence and sovereignty is in front of you. It's just for you to reach out to it. The case of BUJU Banton here demonstrates that we can remove the colonial jurisdiction by claiming our sovereignty to our indigenous rights. This is a lesson for the 65% disenfranchised, apathetic, disengaged population who think there's no other way. There is another way for us to change our political structure. There is a way for us to gain our sovereignty and independence. There is a danger in all of this, though, that not a lot of us recognize. In the geopolitical spheres of things, Jamaica is a plot of land up for grabs. The crown doesn't hold sway over Jamaica like it does in Grand Cayman and British Virgin Island and other countries. What powers they have in Jamaica, it would be called a residual power, leftover powers. Thereby, us the people can remove the monarch in a referendum, but we have to also be careful of how we move down that journey. Jamaican Carlos, wagwan bro. We must be careful how we move down that journey. But what this has opened for us is the stream of knowledge to say that we can change the governance system in Jamaica. We can change our status quo in Jamaica. How are we going to do that? Unity first is foremost and paramount. Because we don't want the tearing here and tearing there and tearing all over the place. We want to remove the colonial jurisdiction. Then we all become maroon. We all become indigenous people. Once we become indigenous people, we remove the colonial Jamaica's jurisdiction. What that would do, one, it would collapse the colonial state of Jamaica, even though they would have got war with us to maintain their power. But this is one way we can strip them of jurisdiction. The BUJU Banton case is a clear lesson. We can also bring them to negotiation where as the indigenous people, we would have sway in negotiating, especially with the natural resources held under the feet of the indigenous people. What that could also do as well with the 65% of us disenfranchised, we can form a political party under the indigenous rights group. And thereby, it would either hang our parliament or outvote the two normal parties. So we have two different ways here how to change the political and governance structure in our country. Are we going to go into deep consideration about them? Or are we going to go into squabble about them. But using the BUJU Banton case as a feasibility study, the Sprague-Benz case as a feasibility study, but more so the BUJU Banton case, internationally recognized diplomat or internationally recognized indigenous sovereign person or group. Then if en masse we take our indigenous jurisdiction, the government of Jamaica will then have to negotiate with the Maroons. As Maroons in Jamaica, we can form a political party that contests the Jamaica election. Mavis Gooden. So there's many doors open here. Many doors open here for us to learn lessons from and implementation that we can put in practice that would change the current governance structure we have. But we need unity to do it. Say you heard it on global television. Andrew is angry and confused over the situation. It is also one of the reasons for his silence. He's been sidetracked, pushed aside, rolled over. Could it be that because of Andrew Holness's opposition, BUJU Banton had to apply to the US Embassy from a third country because he had come up against so much obstacle in the Jamaican system? Could it be that BUJU Banton's successful application to the US Embassy was made from a third country and not from Jamaica? Jamaica is up for grabs, especially in this government restructuring of our constitutional framework. Jamaica is up for grabs. Violet Watson. One of the things that you should notice, no matter how violent Jamaica is painted, you have private investors from all sorts buying up land and investing in fertile or shoreline Jamaica. Because Jamaica, of all amongst many of the Caribbean countries at the moment, or islands, whatever you want to call them, is up for grabs. And because of its strategic and geopolitical aligning within the region, everybody wants a piece of Jamaica. The issue here, though, the people of Jamaica, the descendant of the enslaved, they don't seem to understand what is going on around them, and how everybody is going for a piece of this Jamaica that could break up at any time, given the different geopolitical influences, the Russians, the Chinese, the Americans, the this, the that. Remember sometime, months or weeks or whatever ago, I told you all, be nice to the Maroons, because it might come a point where we're going to have to run back to the mountain. BUJU Banton situation has created the example here, saying to us, let's not wait to run to the mountain. But the procedure is right in front of us at the moment. The procedure is right in front of us at the moment. And it's about us moving towards it, unite around it, and get it done. The possibility is here. We are seeing feasibility study in front of us that things can happen. It can change the situation. It can change the system. But it takes collective unity. It takes collective unity. With BUJU Banton, such a high profile, the one and only, nobody else could be. What is the economic advantage here for their compound with such a high profile ambassador? Not just BUJU Banton, Sprague Benz is very high profile in his own rights as well. Sprague, Ambassador the Honorable Sprague Benz. This is a boost also for the maroon economy. It's a boost for the maroon tourist and eco-tourist economy. This partnership has a lot to tap into, a lot of benefit, a lot of publicity, a lot of PR, given BUJU Banton's status. The maroon, their compound maroons, will be now much bigger on the world stage with such a partnership and such an influential person on board, Angela Robson. Could it be, and could we see at some point later, at some point somewhere, BUJU Banton doing a concert for their compound town? And if that happens, when it does, you can say, you heard that thunder first on global television. Could it be that we could see something like that somewhere down the line? Do you understand the boost that would be for the maroon economy and for the indigenous people and for their brand to be out there to the globe, the global star that Ambassador the Honorable Mark Myrie BUJU Banton is? So there are a lot of what ifs and could it be, but say you heard that exclusive what if and could it be right here on global television. JamaicanTV.com. Another possibility in this as well, if we all take our sovereignty to our indigenous group or rights, we can force this current government structure into a power sharing. Unity matters, though. Unity matters. If we claim our sovereign jurisdiction, if we claim our indigenous rights, we can force this government into power sharing. They will have no choice. Let me say to you, despondent, disengaged, or disgruntled rather, diasporans. Diasporans with knowledge and experience and expertise those of us who want to build a better Jamaica, those of us who knows that with good governance, the infrastructure, the economy, and the politics and social lifestyle of Jamaica can be improved. Marcel Maitland. Pauline Dixon, how are you? You can't sit down now and say we don't know. We know now. We know now that if we remove our jurisdiction from the Jamaica government, we can force them into a power sharing. We can also create our indigenous group that contests Jamaica election. But for you, people in the diaspora, there is a place for you in the Maroon government, provided you're not a traitor or an infiltrator. The Maroons are willing to work with the people of Jamaica for us to partnership and develop the country with the wealth that we're sitting on. The Maroons are ready. It is us down lowland here who are divided by the different narrative of who sold out who and who this and who that. That is what they want to keep us struggling about while they acquire land privately under private investment. Don't be outmaneuvered, people of Jamaica. Once again, the descendant of the enslaved. Don't be outmaneuvered. We have a clear process and procedure here that we can follow that will lift the colonial state and oppression and give us our sovereignty, our land and bargaining power. That will also, by that also removing our sovereignty, we will also remove the British, the British crown allodial title over Jamaica, and then the land, the entire Jamaica, become indigenous land, not crown land anymore, the people's land. You see how much information over here I get? Something wanna not get nowhere else. I don't like the life, but I don't like the wallering and the hissy fitting, eh? I don't like the wallering and the hissy fitting over the little like. Because if I know that, I wouldn't just sit down and make we have to quarrel over it every night. So, why I don't love the hissy fitting and the problem? Feline, good evening. Sonia Smile. Now let's start walk and beg like ladies and everybody else. Come to say that you're not entertained by. Kasha Black, how are you? This is not entertained by the begging. I don't like when people harass on a person on a pack. I don't lucky say me have shame and I love begging. Me say no lucky say me have shame and I love beg because I realize I don't love them something there. When I love when people beg, when I love when people emotionally stress on her. When I love them something there. But when I feel glad say me have shame. When I'm glad me have shame, that me I tell them about ya. That's why me have shame and harass you. When I can't just sit down so. With a finger on the side. Not even 100 like. Can you imagine? Not even 100 like. I mean, they are telling people business. People business that is putting some of your curiosity to bed. And there's a lot more that is to be said. But the way how this thing broad, it have to be spoon-fed. Watch the space this summer. Watch the space this summer. That much I can tell you. Watch the space this summer. There is quite an entertaining lineup this summer. Quite an entertaining lineup. So watch the space. But as I ask, will there be or could we see a show put on in aid of or for a compound town? If it happened, say you heard it first right here on global television. But I can tell you, there are a lot to come. And global TV will be researching deep, keeping our ears on the ground, that whatever comes and whatever break, we will be able to question it for you. But let's take a trip down memory lane. And why is it that our Prime Minister, Norman Ferguson, why is it our Prime Minister is so disgruntled? Why our Prime Minister is so worried and annoyed with regards to the BUJU Banton visa? Ambassador, the Honorable BUJU Banton.
No other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica. Not 1 inch of Jamaica will come under any other sovereign authority.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica, you machine.
We celebrate 282 years of recognition of the Maroons as a sovereign community. In my first 2 visits to Akampong, I spoke about the human desire that is universal to live in freedom and the importance of honoring peace agreements. This is as true today as it was at the time of Captain Kojo. It is only right that this responsibility is now transferred to the government of Jamaica.
We have this treaty, this international agreement to which Jamaica is obligated to honor.
The committee would like to ask the State Party about the status of the Maroon Treaty of 1738, as well as on the measures adopted by the State Party to engage in constructive dialogue with different stakeholders about this treaty, including with Maroon community.
There is no other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica. Not 1.
Made the point that the assembled countries also need to grapple with their past, not just their future, saying at one point that the Commonwealth nations need to acknowledge the wrongs of our past, which were made in an earlier age, that he described as having different and lesser values. And in that context, Heather, he referenced his recent trip to Canada and talked about the lessons that he learned in his meetings with Indigenous and First Nations and Inuit people in Canada on the way the country is approaching reconciliation. And he made the point that the experience Canada is going through now on this front can be a lesson for other nations in the Commonwealth. Here's what the Prince had to say.
In Canada recently, my wife and I were deeply touched to meet many of those engaged in the ongoing process of reconciliation. Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples reflecting honestly and openly on one of the darkest aspects of history. As challenging as that conversation can be, people across Canada are approaching it with courage and unwavering commitment.
As time.
Esther Dwyer, Douglas Allen, Susan Love Jesus. Good evening and welcome you, Ubuntu J. Foxy. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. You are a silent listener. First time getting involved in the conversation. Thank you for getting involved in the Global TV conversation. So as we say, only Holness don't want to accept the sovereign rights of the indigenous people of their compound Maroons. I can also tell you this. Given the first video we played, where he told you not 1 inch of it.
No other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica.
No sovereign authority in Jamaica, and he said, other than the government of Jamaica. Not 1 inch of it, he said. John, how are you? Not 1 inch of it. Then now you could understand Chief Corey, the paramount chief of their compound, the sovereign state of their compound, the highest sovereign figure in our country, the highest statesman in our country, whether you want to believe it, understand it, or not. Chief Corey is not working under the British protectorate. Chief Corey is a sovereign statesman for the sovereign state of their compound. Do you see how Chief Corey power a rub Andrew Holness? But I can also tell you, remember when he said that thing, he was trying to twist all the other Maroon chief against Chief Corey. Tonight, Global Television can tell you, Andrew Holness don't talk to the rest of Maroon them anymore because him cannot get what he really wants. This you can smoke in your pipe as well. Andrew Holness has cut the entire indigenous group off. But what is Andrew Holness doing? Commuting and monkey story, as usual. You know, all of a sudden, when you say Andrew push up the Taino chief as the chief of the indigenous people in Jamaica. What the Holness regime was doing is trying to use all those other Maroon chiefs that he uses against Chief Corey to submit their sovereignty to the Tainos, to the Taino chief. And thereby, they would also try to unseat Chief Corey as the paramount chief for the indigenous people. Because you must understand the chief protocol. You have chief of the different towns, but Chief Curry is chief of the Accompong and paramount chief of the Maroons. That means Chief Curry is chief of those other chiefs. He's a paramount chief. You see how the Honorable Richard Curry power is robbing the Prime Minister. A Prime Minister who told you boldly that only one sovereign authority in Jamaica. BUJU Banton is not an ambassador for the state of Jamaica, Prime Minister. Sprague Benz is not an ambassador for the state of Jamaica, Mr. Holness. Other embassies globally recognizes Ambassador the Honorable Sprague Benz, Ambassador the Honorable BUJU Banton. Does the Foreign Office bang around? Does the Foreign Office recognizes Patricia Huntington? Does the Foreign Office recognizes their diplomatic status? Could Kamina Johnson Stimmett answer that question? Andrew Holness is in a pickle. Andrew Holness is bitter. Andrew Holness is angry. Andrew Holness is caught off guard. Chief Curry powers have been wielded in front of the Prime Minister globally. And this makes the Prime Minister angry, but also pushes the Prime Minister into further silence among everything that was cracking up and broken up in Breakfront. But there's a lot of lesson in this for us. We must not just look at this as people business or BUJU Banton business. There is a great lesson here for us. There is a procedure here that we can use to change our governance structure in our country. There is a procedure here that we can use to remove the colonial status quo and become a sovereign nation. A nation with equal bargaining powers. A nation that doesn't have the colonial master hanging over it. A nation where if we become indigenous people, with the low level of crime and the family structure and community structure that is in and still remain in their compound, maybe that would be the thing to reintroduce civic education in Jamaica, because it is one of the crime committed against us as a people. The removal and dumbing down of civic education, and that needed to be reintroduced, because the power of your vote, the power of your participation, your right to vote is underestimated and ignored many and most of the time. And it is a very powerful piece of tool, only though if you know how to use it. Only though if you use it with conscience and with the view for betterment of your country, but not just for your political narrative and partisanship. There is a lot of lesson in this BUJU experience. A lot of lesson in it for us. You, the powerful 65, apathetic, disenfranchised, blue wave. Do you know how much of a door this opened for you to engage in the political system, albeit from a different angle? And I will continue to repeat that, though. That takes unity. That takes unity for us to achieve. But a new path has been opened up, a new dawn for sovereignty and independence. It is right in front of us. Only though, if we engage collectively and meaningfully. If we engage collectively and meaningfully, there is a lot in the BUJU Banton experience for us to change, Tash, how are you? The politics and governance structure in our country. We can out-jurisdiction them. We can also bring them to the negotiation table. But we first need to gain our independent, our indigenous status. It is there for us. The Maroons are willing to share. The Maroons are willing to partnership. It is this stiff-necked government, because we have never seen any other government at odds with the Maroon in our history. It is this stiff-necked government, because of its greed for mining and investment to continue to enrich itself, that is causing a stir between the Maroon community and the Jamaica government and the paramount chief. But one thing I can tell you, Prime Minister Holness, if you can fool any of the Maroon, any of the other Maroon community, they are compound Maroons, will not have any of your dirty games or your sleazy games, none of it. And you know that. And that is something that is really eating deep into you, because what you have tried to enforce in us Jamaicans, that there is no other sovereign jurisdiction other than the state of Jamaica. Not so, Prime Minister. The BUJU Banton experience is telling us, don't listen to the Prime Minister. It's all but fraud. Not so. So now we have the experience that we don't have to be Jamaican. We don't have to take on what the slave masters gave to us. We can be who we are. We can move into our destiny and our purpose, albeit though with collective unity. This is a continuing, developing story. Any more exclusive coming down the pipeline, Global TV will be in line to keep you up to date with what is going on and the BUJU affair. But whatever I tell you tonight, even if I pose it in a question, then you can put it in a pipe and smoke it, or you can take it down to the market and make a bit of profit on it. But I want to thank you all for being here tonight on the People's Point of View. I did see where, yes, but hold on. May I tell you now, I don't underestimate the Prime Minister's anger. It's reeling and digging him out. Distant friend, how are you? It is digging the Prime Minister. Me not ask you, me I tell you. He might have problem. Because he cannot respond to this, nor he cannot address it. But what I want the Honorable Kamina Johnson Simmet to answer, Precious Allen, do you recognize, does the state of Jamaica recognizes the diplomatic status of ambassadors, the Honorable Sprague Benz, and BUJU Banton? Does the state of Jamaica recognizes the diplomatic status of ambassadors, the Honorable BUJU Banton and Sprague Benz? There are many more to come down this pipeline. Donnet Harriet, keep your ears to the Global Television Group, because whatever development comes down the pipeline, Global Television will be in line to break it down for you. I want to thank you all very much for being here tonight. If you are a Global TV viewer, a lot of you have not subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? Subscribe to the Global Television Group, because if you want to follow the development on the BUJU Banton story, don't mind L.A. Lewis. L.A. Lewis have no authority, jurisdiction, or whatever to speak on Maroon issue. We don't know, say L.A. is a market, and we take up shit and sell if people are willing to buy it. So don't even listen to L.A. when it comes to anything Maroon. That much I can tell you also. But let me tell you, a great eye-opener has happened in all of this. And we must take the lessons, the advantages from it, and use them as solution. But yes, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Because if you want to follow the development in the BUJU Banton story, this is where the exclusive will drop. This is where the mystery of BUJU Banton return will unfold. So make sure you are a subscriber and that you also hit your notification bell, Lilith Lockerbie. So whenever time we set a live broadcast, you will be one of the first to be notified. Charming Ranger, as well as keep liking and sharing the program. That also assists the algorithm to get to a wider audience out there. I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight on the Global Television Group. This was your People's Point of View. Join us back here tomorrow for your At a Glance program, which is your 6 and 7 o'clock Eastern Time, AM, as well as 1 p.m. UK time. And don't forget that Friday, New York Time. This Friday, New York Time, the Global Diaspora Intervention Task Force, Millicent Jones, will be having their New York protests, one that will be much bigger than the Miami protest. That as well is rubbing the government the wrong way up the wall. And Global Television will be also broadcasting that protest, or North American correspondents will be on the ground to bring you all the latest from that protest at the Jamaican consulate in New York. So thank you all for being here, and we hope to see you right back here tomorrow when we will continue to probe and hold power to account. Good evening from Global Television.